Good morning, everyone. I just want to briefly say that it's such a pleasure to be back here with you at Ascension Parish. As Father Gerald mentioned at the beginning of Mass, I will be here for the next 8 weeks full time, and then during the school year, I'll be with you on weekends. So it's a joy to be with you this morning and for the weeks to come. Today we celebrate the beautiful feast of Corpus Christi, or in other words, the most holy body and blood of Christ. It is interesting to note that throughout the Old and New Testament, we see food in relationship to faith. For example, the journey of the Israelites through the desert in today's first reading, we see the Israelites becoming hungry and impatient. Their journey is long, and they will need food for the journey. However, as we know, the Lord always provides in his own time and in his own way. The Lord tested their faith to see if they followed the commandments. The Lord then provides them with manna, but reminds them one does not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God. Today, we are called to a little bit of a different reality. We are called to take and eat. We are called to taste and see. We prepare our souls for participation at the holy table through our acts of contrition, participation in the sacrament of confession, and our prayer that unites us closer to God. We are then called to come to the altar and to receive. This order of events reminds us that we must taste to see. We take and eat by faith, and we are called to be patient as the holy mystery of the Eucharist begins to dwell within each and every one of us, and God's many graces will manifest in us. The Jews quarreled, saying, "How can this man give us his flesh to eat?" Imagine being physically alive during the time of Jesus and being one of his followers. Jesus challenges his disciples all throughout the New Testament. However, this particular teaching of the Eucharist is one of the more challenging realities that the disciples must learn. He calls his disciples, and all of us really, to taste and then see. I imagine if we lived during the time of Jesus, we too would not fully understand what he was asking of us. Perhaps even today, some of us simply cannot wrap our heads around the teaching of the Eucharist. Or maybe we know fellow Catholics or even fellow Christians in our families or friendships who simply don't understand. However, we are all in this church today for one simple reason. We believe. We have faith in what the Lord provides us during the holy sacrifice of the Mass. It is often common for the priest, deacon, and Eucharistic minister, especially at funerals and weddings, to follow a person back to their pew who has taken the Eucharist but has not consumed it. This is always an excellent reminder for me and everyone that we must approach these pastoral matters with sensitivity, understanding, and patience. At the same time, we are all called to protect the Eucharist and to receive the Eucharist with great reverence, respect, and care. And so as we gather as a faith community today, how can you and I better protect the Eucharist? How can you and I better educate our brothers and sisters who may not understand fully? Or how can we educate ourselves better about the mystery of the Eucharist? When we receive the Eucharist, we receive Jesus Christ, body, blood, soul, and divinity. Jesus left us all with this amazing gift. It is the core of our faith and the best spiritual weapon that we have. In In just a few moments, once again, we will approach the altar, we will taste, and then we will see. Let us be reminded that the Eucharist will dwell within all of us as we leave this church this morning. Let us be reminded of our call to protect and receive the Eucharist with great reverence and joy. And let us help our brothers and sisters to do the same.